All right, there we go. Hey, look, I just noticed. This is kind of funny. I totally just noticed as I get my head's always in the way. It's a good head. I like it. Does a lot of good things. But I just noticed that my car and my heart, my cat and my hat are the same color. Orange. Such a cheery color. I like it. Now that I look at it, now that I notice that I have some orange Post-its, I've got like an orange Sharpie here. I obviously like the color orange. Anywho, that's how I am. How are you? um, hey, you all. Hey, you guys. We're gonna turn it on. We're gonna bring you the power. Ba, 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 ba. All right, this is not the electric company, but obviously I've had a little bit of caffeine in my tea today because, yeah, I'm dancing and singing like a Gen Xer that I am. So good morning, good afternoon. I don't know if it may be afternoon where you are. Where I am, what am I looking at? I'm on the east coast of the United States. Well, I say coast, even though technically I'm in Pennsylvania, but I consider us an honorary coastal state because I like the beach. I like to live near the beach, but it is Monday, December 11th. Happy birthday, my sister Pam. And it is 11:31 Eastern Time. Look at all this stuff, all right? I'm here. Ms. Ma'am, you're here from Florida. I bet the weather's nice down there. We've got a little, actually, you know what? It was a little bit of gloom and doomy on one side of the house, but I'm looking out these windows and I see yellow sky. I see an orangey sky. I see a blue sky and some yellow sunshine. So yay for that, okay? So welcome everybody. Let's make the most of our time together, shall we? If we haven't met before, and I know there's just a handful of folks here, but I love it. West Virginia. Nice to see you, West Virginia Mama. Is that Country Roads? Take me home. I am like my dad in that I will pretty much always try to find a song. Like we would be driving back from my Grammy's house, Grammy and Dedham, not Grandmy and Needham, and he would be like, "All right, give me a word and I'll sing a song about it." There we go. Okay, so welcome. Wow, there we go. Catherine is saying, "Wow, did we go nuts this weekend? Feels good." I love the feeling of the good part. This is frankly, if you think about it, this is the reason why I show up. It feels good for me to help you. It feels good for you to do the stuff that feels good. And it's like mutually like, hey, isn't this kind of fun? I don't like to do anything. Like I realize this the more I think back on my wild and illustrious career and being a kid in school. If something did not engage me, if I was like, why are we doing this? I would just wander off, get bored, get distracted. It was only when I became kind of engaged and had buy-in or motivated that I would do stuff. And when I did it, it actually seemed pretty good. Catherine, I love it. Catherine is saying that the before and after is amazing. And I love that you'll notice, like on HGTV and stuff, I don't watch it much anymore, but I used to a lot, that they would have like the before and after and how it looked. Now, trust me, the look of the before and after is awesome. I do not discount that, but I love the feeling that you led with how it feels so good, because that's why I am a decluttering life coach. Hey, we haven't met before. My name is Beth, Destination Decluttered, decluttering life coach. I say that because it's not just about how your house looks. Oh, look, I have less clutter, but I still feel like crap in my house. Nah, that ain't going to work, Jay. What I want you to do is I want you to feel good in your body, in your life, and in your house. And an easy way to start that journey is by working on the external. And so when you work on the external, how it looks, it helps you work on the internal. Okay? I love it. My why was clear this time. Took out an old bed and donated to put up a new bed. Hey, anything that gets you incrementally close. Like my husband and I this weekend, he did the hard work, which was to put up a couple of lamps near the bed so that when I sleep in bed, I can have, or when I'm in bed, I can read, is we pulled out the couch and or the bed. And then we noticed all these, I was calling them dust buffaloes. And I was like, oh my gosh. So we cleaned that out. Any excuse you have. I think I did a video of this, of cleaning out some of these shelves because I went to put something away and I said, oh, I noticed there's dust. Every little bit helps. Okay, there we go. Carla Halliday saying, I'm so happy to see you. I'm happy to see you as well. I had a friend come yesterday and we cleared 3 rooms in my mom's house. Yes, always good to have friends. Always good to have help. A lightened load. Many hands make the work easier, something like that. So cool. That's cool that you have a friend, and that must feel so much better having done those 3 rooms. You know, I get that. WV Mama is saying, I spent the morning video chatting with my niece and got my dishes done and laundry folded. Again, notice when it feels better. Don't feel alone, because you're not alone. If you have clutter, you're not alone. I mean, look at all of us right here. A handful of people here on the internet. We are a mere fraction of the people who are dealing with clutter. But also know that you're not alone when you're doing dishes and things like that. That all of us have to do a lot of this kind of maintenance of the home in order to make it easier for us to live there. And what I like to do is make you realize you have company. You're not alone. You have friends who can help you out with this stuff. But also realize too that you can do it alone, but it can feel good. Okay? So notice that. Alice Schaefer, a long time no see. I'll see you in a few hours, huh? Thank you for getting in touch, and thank you for being on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list so that you can get a consultation with me. Maybe we'll work out stuff, okay? There we go. I love the little chats. Here we go. Jen Stowe just says, yeah, yay, I made it to your live. Yay, you made it. Awesome. Welcome in. I would say sit down, but if you want to sit down, sit down. But if you want to get up and putter around and do some decluttering of the surface area variety while I'm chatting with you, strike while the iron is hot. Make the most of the time that you have. And if this helps you get further along, by all means do it. However, if you're exhausted and beat and truly can't do anything but scroll, I'm here. You know, it all starts up here, and then the stuff happens out here. So if all you can do is just sit there and chill, do what feels right to you. Okay? All right, so what do we have here? Right, okay. So German Made 95 is saying we had a tornado come down my street in North Carolina yesterday. All my decluttering is back on hold. Well, of course, because life, thank goodness, yes, you personally had no major damage, but neighbors not so fortunate. So putting your stuff on hold and helping out your neighbors, that's awesome. Clutter is, we should all be so lucky to have clutter. Why do I say that? Because clutter is an abundance problem. It is the problem of too much. It is the problem of too much because too much is making you feel not so good. It's making you feel heavy and weighed down and kind of, I'm drowning in it. Too much. You're in above your head. I feel too much. But it can wait when more important things come out. Now, helping out when a tragedy arrives, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter. And I bet many of you have done this maybe, even not so extreme with tornadoes. But maybe you have put your life, your home on pause because you've been too busy helping other people. Your friends, your family, your spouse, your mate, your kids, your grandkids. Maybe you have been spending too much time helping other people, not a bad thing, but maybe it's time right now to turn some of that help inward if your life is looking and feeling and functioning not like you want it to. Okay? Just notice that. There we go. Alice has gotten another bag of clothes together. Awesome. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, man, hey. That reminds me of Ben Vaughn and our friend Michael Kropp. Michael Kropp, who my husband's going to go get wings with earlier today. There we go. So not alone. Yeah, we're on this. Uh-huh. Oh, there we go. Carla, awesome. Good stuff. Really good stuff here, people. This is neat. Good stuff. I like to hear this. Oops, and everything just jumped ahead of me. So let me back up. We got a lot of things here. Heidi got her bedroom knocked out yesterday. Awesome. Christina Adams is liking my glasses. You know what? These are those pear glasses. I got them mainly because I should have them in here. They have these little magnetic things here. I literally just wear these or these when I'm not on camera. And then I like them for the fact that I can put my sunglasses on them. So it's funny. I want to get I will say this in all transparency, get it? I want to get my eye doctor to check them though, because I want to check to make sure that the prescription is okay, because I got my prescription from my eye doctor and then they're so cool. I'm going to do a video about them next year because they are just such neat people. But I also want to make sure that what they made in, like a factory in China is the best for my eyes. But thank you. Yeah, Pair, P-A-I-R. There we go. Emmy says, I wish I could clear out a room that's cluttered with grandkids stuff. Well, your wish is granted. Why can't you do that? I wish I could. If wishes were horses, everybody would ride, something like that. Emmy, I'm asking you, ask yourself, why can't you do it? Is it because you can't or you don't want to? A combination of the two. Notice that. Dewerland is saying adult kids. Ooh, adult kids. Ah, my adult kids. Adult kids have stuff laying around being stored. How do I manage that? This, call them on it. Call them on it. And with love for them, in your heart, in your actions, in your energy, say, this doesn't work anymore. We are going to stop what ain't working, and we're going to start something that works better for all of us, including me, you, and this doesn't cut it anymore. Okay? And say it with love. I mean, you can say it in an accusatory, bitchy tone. Trust me, I've been there. Play the long game. Know that when you show up in an energy of love and cooperation and collaboration with people, you're so much more likely to get the result you want. I am telling you. I'm telling you, as little Edie would say. It's so true. When you're like, hey, I'm struggling. Could you help me with this? Could you not just help me? And I will say this. It's not necessarily about the decluttering. Here's my riff on decluttering. This is how I coach. This is my soapbox moment. I coach from the opinion and the belief that the decluttering is not the sole responsibility of the woman in the household. If you are living by yourself and you're a woman, well, yeah, now it is. You can't blame it. Well, I guess you could blame it on your dog or your cat or whatever. But if you have children, if you have roommates, if you have a mate or a husband or a partner or anybody else living under your roof, they should be part of the maintenance of the home. It should not fall just to the woman just because of history has told us that that's the way it should be. No. If you believe that, if you're like, no, I want to be a wife and have some of that, you do you. But that's not what you're going to find here, so you may not like what you hear. I want to redistribute the responsibility to make it more equitable, not just so that it lessens the load on you, so you feel better, but also decluttering and maintaining a home is a life skill. Your children are going to be so much better prepared to live on their own or with other people and be people somebody else will want to live with if they know how to take care of their own stuff, maintain their own spaces, and not do it like it's a big PFD. I almost swore, and I'm trying not to do that. Okay? So notice that. Notice that, and you can do something. Yeah, Catherine is even saying, ask them to take it and or give a deadline that you'll remove it. Sounds like good to me. There we go. Lisa Olson is saying, you are so inspiring. Well, thank you. I try to inspire. I do. Inspiration feels here. What I would love for you to do, though, I want to somehow inspire you to take the next step. What is an action you can use this inspiration? Inspiration, when it is stuck in your head and your heart, I was reading I saw something about this. It's only doing half of what it's meant to do. Inspiration should inspire you to take action. And whatever that action is supposed to be something that makes you get closer to what your destination is. So even showing up to this TikTok is a good first step, better than not. Decluttering while I am on is a good next step. Gets you closer to where you want to go to. Maybe, and I'm just going to pop this up here, is signing up on my Destination Decluttered email mailing list. And I say mine, it's really ours. I just happen to be the keeper of the list, but I share the good stuff with you all the time. For example, tomorrow night is going to be the Destination Decluttered monthly Zoom. So if you're on the mailing list, you've gotten the info about that. If you want to sign up on the mailing list today, destinationdecluttered.com/join. Sign up. Now, for you, those of you whose names are familiar and you see me, you're going to be like, oh, there she goes talking about it again. But here's the deal. I never know who's a new person who just happened upon me. So I want to make sure that they have the resources they need and could benefit from, and letting them know that there's help out there. Okay? And I love, Lisa, that you are listening and decluttering at the same time. You're saying thank you. I say you're welcome. You know what? I know what it's like to feel alone and struggly, and you know what the opposite is not alone and not struggling. Okay? There we go. Okay. D. Dawn says, I have boxes of my mother's stuff. It's all family history, and it takes up a lot of room. Okay? So notice that. Now, this is an interesting thing. I can only, and this is, I want to say, this is the difference between kind of my one-on-one coaching that I do with paid clients versus like the free member Zoom that we do tomorrow versus just me trying to glean as much information as I can with the words you used, the words you shared, okay? When you say you have boxes of my mother's stuff, technically, yeah, it's all family history, but it isn't really the documents and the things you want to do to family tree. Everything in your mom's house could be ostensibly a part of the family history. Here's a way to look at this. What do you think are the most important things that somebody in your extended family who you will never meet, somebody, as the old-timey song goes, 100 years from today, wants to find out about your family? What are like the three things what are the handful of things you want to be carried on in your family? And I don't necessarily mean things, I mean information, birth dates, where people lived, what kids they had. What are the stories you want future generations to know about you? And does that require any of these items to tell that story? I feel like the longer we go on in the future, the more we will be heavily, not reliant on, but we will rely on, I don't know, I gotta think of a better word. We will become dependent, rely on, we will benefit from more digital interaction. Look what we are now. If we didn't have Zoom or Zoom, TikTok right now, I'd be sitting at my desk alone, you'd be sitting, and we wouldn't be connected. So do you need all of those physical things to tell all of your family history, especially because it takes up a lot of room? And if you don't want it to take up a lot of room, how can you make that quantity of items smaller? Now, Dawn, I will say this, you have hit upon the most struggly part of clutter, which is the third level of clutter, which is instead of surface, which, you know, people are walking around decluttering while I'm on right now. Awesome. Decluttering your surface. Then you've got stored clutter, but it's still kind of like, oh, there's my underpants, there's my socks, there's my hoodies, there's the, you know, forks in the fork drawer, whatever. Then you've got sentimental. Surface, stored, sentimental. Sentimental is the stuff that tells stories. This tells stories and makes you feel feelings. So those are the items that takes you a while to process. But it's worth going into that, but going into it with a plan of what do I want to come out of this? What do I want the result to be? What do I want my home to look and feel like? And maybe it's I don't want all this stuff taking over my house. Okay? Notice that. Okay? Oop, I just saw something that I want to back up on here. Okay. Emmy is saying my oldest grandchild is 30, go down to 11, 5 of them. I need to get rid of it, but they cry. They cry. Well, you know what? Have them take responsibility for their own stuff. Crying is a feeling, but it also can be manipulative. So be mindful. Are they crocodile tears or does it bring up feelings? And if somebody wants something enough, what's that? I got a little thing in my kitchen. Those who want to do it, do. Those who don't, make excuses. If they really want it, have them take responsibility for their own stuff. Okay? There we go. Carla is saying it's huge if you will allow trust others to help you. It is trust without judgment. Oh my goodness, that is what coaching is. When you have people I bet you have people in your life that judge you. I know I do. Judgy people. You don't want to ask them to help because they're just going to judge you. You're going to feel judged, even if they say they're not going to judge you. Finding the help that works for you is help that's going to work for you. Okay? So notice that. What else do we have here? I love it that people are connected. Some days I wish I had never stopped working. It's a big responsibility to take on. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes it's hard to, it's easy sometimes to go external at work, deal with other stuff as opposed to what's internal. Okay? Marty, I will say that sometimes I do swear. I just am trying to curb it. It happens, and that's who I am. My Democracy is saying, how do I support a 91-year-old person who needs massive decluttering in a small place and wants it? Yeah, Catherine, thank you for chiming in as I was busy talking, saying just do what you can and what they will allow. Work on, pay attention to their nervous system. Pay attention to your nervous system. My shortcut way of calling it is your heart, but what I mean is your physical system, your heart, all your feeling parts of your bodies that are sending you messages all the time, but it doesn't have words, so it needs to make you feel feelings to make you do stuff. Okay? So notice when they feel comfortable with help them to the extent that they feel comfortable. And when it starts to feel like there's a little bit of tension, notice that, back off, try it again. It can be, especially 91 years of living with stuff, you can get comfortable with almost anything. Even if you think you want less clutter, it's going to feel different, and it can feel scary because it's different when you decrease the clutter even by 10%. So allow that person's nervous system to then get used to living with 10% less. And once they feel safe there, then maybe you ask again and say, do you want to do some more? If it feels right to them, meet them where they are at. Okay? There we go. I've been doing that, but we're not getting anywhere, and it's sad now. Okay, maybe because they need to make decisions. You know what? How about this? How do they want to live out the rest of their years? They have far fewer years ahead of them. So maybe asking them what's going to make it look and feel more comfortable to them. And then doing the thing, what's their destination, and helping them, whatever that looks and feels and functions like, honor them in the way they want to live their life and help it be more like that for them. DLC, you did something I used to do a lot of. I donated a bunch of stuff to the Salvation Army this Saturday and then walked around and bought more stuff in the store. I used to call it giving an offering to the gods. I did. I thought it was kind of funny, but it was true. That's okay. I mean, if you enjoy thrifting, I used to enjoy it for decades. For decades, I enjoyed it until slowly but surely I realized it wasn't fun anymore. To me, it didn't feel as fun as it used to. But if it still feels fun to you, and you're balancing the quality and quantity of stuff in your house, you do you. Do what feels right to you, but make sure what you do gets you the result, the destination you want. If you go and you donate, but then you replace it, is that helping you get to your destination decluttered? Now, I don't know your specific situation, so I just posit that as a question for you to inquire within yourself. To say, yeah, is this helping me get to where I want to go to, or is it making it more difficult? Like, I thought I was making progress because I got rid of 50 items, but then I went and picked up 51 or 49. The sooner you decrease the quantity of items into your home to a level that feels right to you, and a quality and a quantity that feels right to you, you're going to be so much closer to looking in your home, looking and feeling and functioning like you want it to. There we go. Okay? Okay, Allie Hendricks, I'm going to offer this to you. Allie Hendricks Whittock. The garden, the house, the laundry, the dogs, the cooking, and I want to declutter. You know what you just did, silly? You just overwhelmed yourself. Yeah, you just overwhelmed yourself. You named all the things, the overwhelm. How's it feel? Nah, feels kind of crappy, huh? Overwhelming feels, how does that feel? Anxiety, overwhelm, paralyzation, as I called it on a coaching call earlier today. Don't do that to yourself. Shh. Calm down your nervous system. What do I mean by this? Overwhelm, you've heard it before, but repetition is so helpful. This is how I coach. If you feel overwhelmed, think of the word over. Picture the word overwhelmed over your head. And then think of the opposite word. The opposite word to over, the way I coach, is down. How does that play on? Instead of overwhelming yourself with all of these things, first of all, calm down your nervous system. Take some good in with the good air, out with the bad air. Breathe down deeply into your lungs. Slow down even just the movements of your body. Move your body, but maybe make it slow. Maybe slow down the way you are speaking. Maybe just get nice and calm down your nervous system instead of being overwhelmed. And when you feel better, then I want to offer to you 2 things you can do that also are, instead of calming down and breathing down and slowing down, Notice my overuse of the word down. Instead of over, think all the downs. Calm down, slow down, breathe down. Then write down. Get your thoughts out of your head onto paper. Down on paper. Write down your thoughts. Get them out of your head, down onto paper where you can look at them. Write down what you want your home to look and feel and function like. Maybe even just each one of those topics. Get it out of your head and onto paper and then chunk it down. Even just chunking down what you want the house to look like. Now, the laundry, all of those things are too much, but taken one at a time, you can actually then chunk it down to take some action. And then after you write it down and then make a list of things that you know that will help you get to where it looks and feels like, then if you follow me along and you know about breeze blocking, then you block it into, you put it onto your calendar to increase the likelihood that you will actually show up and take the action. Okay? Notice that. Okay, items that I don't use but my daughter wants me to save for her. She is preteen. Okay, guess what? Suddenly, downtown, uptown style, they are no longer your items. Your daughter says she wants them. So have your daughter now become responsible for those items. Put them in a plastic tote. Make her be in charge of the plastic tote. Where does the plastic tote go? Have a conversation. Work with her so that you get what you want and she gets what she wants. But notice that with items, with things that we own, comes responsibility. You need to be responsible. You are now responsible for taking care of that item. If you suddenly become responsible for it, do you really want it anymore? That's a question, Get her involved. There we go. Yeah. Don't try and do it all at once. Do not. You can't do all of it once. All you can do is one thing at a time in an order, in a row. You cannot look in this direction and this other direction at the same time. When I was a manager of teams, everybody would be like, I just multitask. I'm like, you don't multitask. What you do is you do something for a smidge, and then you do another thing, and then you do a smidge and do a smidge. And what you do is you fragment your what little focus you have, and that feeling and that focus of getting stuff done. Okay? JC517, my issue is papers. I'm afraid to throw them out. All right, let me ask you this, and I mean this in a good way. Ask yourself, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid? Notice fear keeps us holding on to stuff versus love allows us, and curiosity allows us to feel good about letting things go. What are you afraid is going to happen when you throw away a certain category of paper? Just ask yourself what you are afraid of and listen for the answer. That will help you. Okay, not newspaper, mail, receipts, etc. Okay, so if you keep a receipt, what are you afraid is going to happen if you throw away a receipt? Just notice yourself. Continue to ask yourself this question to get to the core of why you're hanging on to this stuff. If you don't ask yourself the question, you'll be like, I don't know, I'm just afraid. What's going to happen? I don't know. Find out what you do know. What do you know? Okay? Notice that. Okay, I do one thing, says Rossman. I do one thing and move on, and then the first place I worked on has gotten even worse than before. So you know what that means is that you've got some habits that get you cluttered. Okay, you've got some habits. Ross, we all have habits that either keep us cluttered or allow us to be less cluttered. And habits are things you do every day at a micro level that either get you where you want to go or where you don't want to go. Okay, JEC517, getting really specific. Sometimes you need receipts, other times you don't. Could you save the receipts that you know you might need in the future, like for a major purchase or something you might return, but do you really need that receipt for the bag of potato chips that you got at Wawa? Notice there are times when you can let things go, when you need it. This is where, I may sound annoying, but this is like circling and getting closer and closer. There are going to be categories of papers that you don't need in the future. You can get rid of those. If it makes you feel, notice how I bring in your energy and your nervous system a lot with this, because notice it's making you feel a fear that activates your nervous system, that gets you afraid, that clings you onto stuff. Notice the things you can let go of some of it. You don't have to let go of all of it. Notice the stuff that feels really important. Is it for your taxes? Is it for insurance? Is it your will? Or is it you know, the packing slip from something you got at Target that you're using now and you're already never going to return it. Get curious about what you're really afraid of and what are the things that you could let go of that do not activate your nervous system because you're like, oh yeah, I already used that. I'm not going to return it. Okay? Okay, Emma's saying, I came to the conclusion that the day that I live in the past and I no longer want to. Good. How about this? Today, in the present, decide what you want your future to look and feel and function like. Write that shit down and drive towards it. Okay? Oops, see? I swore. Mea culpa. Not so much. Okay. Hellcat Kel is saying, I have that problem. I live with 3 messy ADHD people. Okay. Then more than ever, habits. Practicing habits that work with the neurodivergent, the ADHD brain. Every brain on the planet is different. Everybody's brain is different from one another. So when I hear ADHD as kind of a header, I've got it in my family. I probably have it too, but I do not self-identify with it really because I know that what I have done, even if I have it or not, is I have found and created and practiced habits that of thinking, of feeling, and doing things that get me the result I want, which is a life that feels so much less effortless than it ever did before, that it feels light and delightful, and my house is organized and clean and easy to maintain and just delightful. Delightful. Groove is in the heart. Okay? 3 Octaves is saying, how long do I need to keep EOBs from insurance? I don't know what EOB is, but what I would do is what you just wrote to me. Ask somebody who can really find that out, which would be an insurance person. Copy and paste that into Google and see what comes up. And look for reliable sources. Okay? There we go. Boop, grooves in the heart. Such a classic. Such a classic. But the groove is in the heart. It is, because you know what? This is what keeps things. You can have an idea up here, and if it's not happening out in the world, you know why? It's because there's something going on here that's stopping it from coming out of you. If you get an inspiration, oh, I want to do that, and then you don't do it, it's because there's a misalignment. There is a yellow or red light in your traffic signals where you want a green light to be. Okay, my refrigerator is always cluttered. I organize it almost every day and still a mess. Maybe you have too much stuff in your fridge. I don't know, eat the stuff that's in your fridge. Eat that stuff. Oh, we do this all the time to the annoyance of my husband. So we do a lot of traveling, and I don't like to leave a lot of perishable foods in the fridge prior to us leaving, even if it's only for a handful of days. So we then get really creative about what we're eating. I think tonight we're going to have some eggs. I think we're making some banana pancakes with something. I don't know, but we're going away for almost a week, and so I don't want to have stuff in there. Notice the quantity. The quantity of items makes it more easy to become messy. The fewer items you have, the easier it is to keep things neat. Oh, there you go. Explanation of benefits. Thank you, Mommy Salami. I don't know. Can you find that explanation of benefits somewhere digitally? Now, I will admit to you, as a decluttering person, but also as a Gen Xer, I grew up in the generations before the internet. So I still have that kind of legacy feeling of importance of keeping important papers. The fear of, I might get in trouble if I throw this away because it looks important. Look at me and all my little quotes. However, I have a system that when I do that, it takes very little room. I put it in. I don't think about it, but it provides me peace of mind. Now, I'm sure if something comes up insurance-wise, I may not look at that thing, but while I have it, it makes my nervous system feel okay. But I can probably find it elsewhere. You do what feels right to you, but if deciding to keep that paperwork makes you feel right, make sure that you are storing it in a place that is easy for you to locate it and doesn't take up a lot of room, that doesn't get in your way. That the functionality of deciding to keep it is, where is there a good place that this does not get in my way? Okay? And notice this. Everybody's like, EOBs. I'd never learned one. Now I knew one, you know? You can always request EOBs from the company if you need them. You don't have a copy, keep yours. And they also probably, that's the thing. So I wrote books right here where I'm pointing over here. I got interviewed by somebody who was talking about my road tripping books recently, and one of the things about something that is printed is that it may even be obsolete before it gets out of the printer. That is one of the benefits of being able to access some information online. So notice that the ones you may save may be outdated. That they're like, oh no, we have a new one. Okay? Yes. Everybody's all shredding things. See, you're not alone. Everybody's, yeah. And we're all in this together. So thank you, everybody who's helping. We are all learning something. And also what we're learning is we all have clutter and stuff. And it's cool to help people when you're struggling. And accepting that help and doing something with it is the best next step. Okay? Yeah, and Mommy Salami says, I could never figure out the EOBs anyway. Yeah, they're going to do what they're going to do. You can be informed about them, you know. Rossman, my child has a mess in her room. I gave her a second room. Now the second room is bad. Yeah, you know why? Because the problem isn't the space. The problem is her habits. It is. This is the thing. I have coached people in tiny houses, and I have, well, not tiny, you know, those little tiny houses, small homes. I have coached people who have huge homes, and the space is not the issue. The space is not, oh, if I only had more space. No. It's because you have a thought and a feeling and a habit of doing things that keeps you cluttered no matter how big or small the space is. If anything, having too much space can make it more difficult because then you don't realize you're at max capacity and feeling overwhelmed and too much until you have way more than you did. Now, our house is small. What is it? 1,500 square feet, ranch, 1 bathroom, you know? So it doesn't take much for us to feel overwhelmed with stuff, though let me tell you, boy, did we fit a lot of stuff in this house. When I was selling mid-century modern stuff and we moved up here and I had all my inventory in the basement and the garage and we were trying to figure out what works, holy frajolies, our house kept a lot of stuff, but it felt like it. Then the more that we got rid of, the better it felt. So notice Rossman. There we go. Yeah, she went on vacation and threw all her luggage in the second room. Habit. Throwing the luggage. You have a habit and then shoving it back. A push me, pull you. Okay? It ain't working. Or if it's working, it ain't feeling good. It sounds like a tussle. Right? There we go. Emma Holmes says, I found I will not fold clothes. Do you recommend a system? Yeah, get used to having your clothes not folded and just put them away not folded. And if you're cool with being wrinkled, I mean, I'm not saying it judgy. Find a way that you can store your clothing that fits with what you want to do and what you don't want to do. My husband is a better folder than I am. I say better because his stuff looks a little bit slightly more gap-like, but I fold my stuff neat enough that I can fit in my drawers. I am not the person to come to for that kind of super specific, look, this is how you make it look perfect for the internet. The internet is not looking. The internet is not looking in my sock drawer. I'm not going to look in yours either. But can you find your socks? Can you easily grab a pair of socks that match? When you put them on your feet, do they feel good so you can put on your shoes and go out and live? That's what I care about. I don't care if you alphabetize them, if you color code them. Do it so it feels right to you. Okay? Okay. The lascivious deviant is saying, I live in a 900 square foot horse. I think you mean house, but you could live in a horse. And I feel like I definitely don't have enough space. Okay, I just saw your house afterwards, but isn't it funny how we do that? Okay, you may not be able to change the 900 square feet this way, but you can make the feeling of space by honing in on the quantity and quality of items you have. The fewer items you have, it's just a math problem. Or it's a math solution. The fewer items you have, the more space you have. It's like, you know, a little formulae there. Okay, so notice that. Anastasia is saying, my daughter too, I want her to get out so I can get into declutter, and she won't get rid of anything. Okay, don't declutter at somebody. It doesn't have the desired effect. It is a short-term thing, but notice she doesn't want to get rid of anything, so there is some tension there. Notice the tension. How can you work together? Maybe she doesn't feel like she has a problem. Maybe it's your problem with her amount of stuff. Okay? There we go. Somebody says Marie Kondo saved my clothing storage. Jesus ate my hot rod. I don't know about you. It's well known that the dryer eats socks, so you never have a match. Or here's what I find is you can buy, I tend to buy in multiples of things. Like I find a type of sock that I like, and then so I buy a bunch of them, but they each like shrink differently. So then I have 10 socks that kind of look alike, and then I have to make a best guess effort, but it's close enough. Okay? Do not work on your own self first. This is what I say. Work on your own self first, your own clutter, and not just your own physical clutter, but the way you think and feel and act about clutter. The more you can understand how to motivate yourself to declutter your own stuff, you will have more curiosity and empathy and love and ease of doing it with somebody else. But you got to start with yourself first. Okay? You got to start with yourself first. If you try to declutter somebody else, you can try, and sometimes it helps, and sometimes it just makes matters worse, because how would you like it if somebody came into your life and judged you about the quantity and quality of items that you surround yourself with, and your decisions on how you display them, how you store them, or lack thereof? And instead of being judgy, get curious. Get curious about how you do things, and get curious about how other people do. Curiosity, remember I talked about overwhelm and down, the opposites? On this side, you've got curiosity on one side because judgment is on the other side. When you are in a judgy frame of mind, it's not going to help anybody. What you need to do is back off of that. If you want to make change, stop being judgy, start being curious. Curiosity does not have judgment. It's really like, oh, interesting. Okay, tell me more. I am genuinely curious. I am not judging you. I just want more information. That's how I show up to coach. That's how I show up with my life. I get curious. Wonder why this isn't working. Wonder why I always get irked at this certain thing. Oh, you know why? Because that door sticks. Oh, interesting. You know what I can do? I can do this so the door doesn't stick. The door doesn't stick. I'm not irked. Okay? Okay. Trish, here's a good one. Excuse me. I'm picking up my thing here. If I can get rid of something, I get stuck. Notice when you get stuck on what's the best thing to do with it. Okay. Lower your expectations. You know what the best thing to do is? Find the easiest way that feels right to you, because there could be a number of these things, not the best, but what is a way that makes you feel okay about releasing something? Lower that drama of all or nothing and worst and best and superlatives. It's getting you stuck. What is an okay way for you to get rid of things? I know people have thoughts and feelings about the goodwill. And I will say this, I do too. You know what? They're a business and they run their business a certain way. But hell, I will occasionally drop a bag of clothing off at the Goodwill because it is easier for me, and the quality of the clothing that I'm donating isn't the quality of clothing that I know that the really nice thrift store near me would want to accept. So it's better than putting it in the trash. What's something better than putting in the trash so that you can stop the thought of best and chunk it down to a size that feels better so that you can take action. Chunk it down until it feels right, and when it feels right, then you can take action. Repeat, lather, rinse, repeat. Everybody always forgets the lather. It was there. It's not the Mandela effect. I swear it was on the back of like the Head and Shoulders bottle. Okay? I understand why, but how can I help? Yeah. You know what? Check in here. There we go. I always try to find a friend to go things first. If there's somebody I know who wants something, I'll offer it, but sometimes that can be more trouble than it's worth. If it's something good, I will totally give first dibs, and if nobody says anything, it makes it easier for me to just donate. Donate to a church, buy nothing groups. People are saying, I don't want to deal with it during Christmas. Don't. Enjoy. This month of the year is different from every other month of the year. So cut yourself some slack. December holidays, people. Between Thanksgiving and New Year's is a life that we live that is unlike the other months of the year. Wouldn't you agree? Mine is. We got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas, we're traveling, we got birthdays, there's New Year's, there's things before New Year's. It's a different feeling thing. So even if you feel like you can't deal with clutter right now, just notice if your clutter is affecting how you feel. Notice that. Kristen is saying, I always debate between selling it or donate. Should I stay or should I go now? Should I sell it or should I donate? How about this? If I had to give you like a 3-second, like which one feels easier and better, answer, like what's your answer? Do that. Make it easy on yourself, people. I'm not here to make it more difficult. I am not here to make it more difficult. I am here to put ease in your life. I am here to help you gain time to do the things you want to do, not spending all your life surrounded by overwhelming clutter and stuff. No, 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 no. Let's stop that. Let's start this. Man, I'm going to be hitting the ground running or driving at the beginning of the year when we all kind of wake up from the new year saying, oh my gosh, it's 2024. Does my life and home and, does everything look and feel and function like I want it to? And if the answer is no, I will be here for you on TikTok Live, on my email mailing list, and if you want to be one of my one-on-one clients. Okay? Yeah. There we go. Bria says, I've been debating that point too, but I'm at the point, notice this, almost like a fork in the road, where I just want it gone and my mental health is better. Yes, notice what is going to feel better down here and up here. Just, there we go. Don't make things more difficult on yourself than you have to. Make things easier for yourself. When it feels better, you will do better. Notice that. It is, I notice, I used to, you have to decide how much your time is worth and how much your mental health is worth. I say this from a point of knowledge on all sides because I, at one point, was paying my rent selling things on eBay that I thrifted. This is when eBay first started, and I was always a thrifter, and being an art history major and a person who loves to collect vintage stuff, I could spot a diamond in the rough. I will share this with you, which I'm kind of excited about. Just recently, and this happens very infrequently because I have very few things, I just put a piece of junk that people thought it was, that I bought for $5 close to 20 years ago, but I kept it because I knew it was worth something, but I hadn't done anything. I just got notified that I sold it at an auction. I got $850 for it. Now, I won't get that much because they're going to take their cut. So I know what it's like to want to make money from things. But at a certain point, how do I want to spend that money? Is spending my time doing that worth the money I'm going to get? Now, obviously, with this one piece of, sculpture, the answer was hell yeah. But even so, I gave it a shot. No matter what money, it was fairly easy to drop it off and say, sell it for me and I'll take whatever money you got. So just notice those things. Yeah, Sandy, I will say this. Sandy is saying, I'm not going to try to, I'm a thrifter too, she says. My most favorite thing to do. It was my most favorite thing to do for decades. It was. And then I noticed at a certain point, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, that my house was filling up with stuff. So then I started selling things. Even way before then, I was selling things. But that kind of enabled me to justify why I was going out. And what I realized is, and this may ring true for you, and you may be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. When I was out of my house, when I was out in the world, when I was looking out at stuff, I wasn't looking inside. It gave me something else to distract myself from, which was the deeper question is, does my life look and feel and function like I want it to? That's a scary question. It can be scary to think about those things because it seems so overwhelming. That's why I coach in that same manner, but we start with your home, your stuff. How does your stuff make you feel? And I will say, my life has felt so much better once I did the scary thing, which was to stop what I was doing and to cautiously look around and look inside and be like, holy shit, what's in there? And then work on this stuff and realize I'm pretty awesome. And what I want to happen in my life, I can make happen. And it's fun to think of that way. And the thing that changed my mind, I will share you with this, is that I always thought my life has to look like somebody else wanted it to look like. When I said to myself, you can create a cool kick-ass road trip. Why can't you plan your life like a road trip? And I said, I don't know, why can't I? And I said, well, where's your destination? I'm like, I am not excited about where my life is going. My life is going somewhere where I don't want to go. So I said, okay, how can I make what I'm aiming for more exciting to me? And as soon as I started doing that and doing incremental things, it changed. And I did it incrementally. And notice Rach is saying it's scary, and thank you for saying so. It is scary. It activates your nervous system, okay? So what you do is instead of feeling that scary feeling, start with the feeling of good, of, oh my gosh, you know what, it would be so cool is if I lived in a funky house and I decorated it like with random thrifty things, and it reminded me of like Pee-wee's Playhouse and the Monkeys Beach House, and then maybe that cute guy with the guitar who sings those songs, I have a crush on him, he kind of looks like Sean Cassidy. And what if he thought I was cute? And wouldn't it be cool if we lived together? And then we had like a dog. And then we like lived at the beach. And then we had travels and adventures. And it was like, you know, it was like an episode of The Monkees probably, right? With my little stars in my eyes. That sounds like a dream. That's my life. That is what I turned my life into. And oh my gosh, it's awesome. It is like the best episode of The Monkees ever. I love it. And the energy in me, there's still energy around here. There is energy here. And instead of it being anxious, fearful energy, it is exciting, let's do this energy. So managing your energy. Notice the thing you're scared of. Baby steps close to it. What is it? Can you peek inside? Can you make your nervous system feel okay to be like, I'm just curious, what is behind this? Okay? So just notice that. Notice that it's all about what's here. There we go. Lefty's Right Witch says, I'm up to 2 boxes of Christmas stuff on its way out. 2 in the wings. Love it. User 398674 is saying, to avoid clothes in landfill, are there places to take unsellable clothes? Yes, there are, but it depends on where you live. This is where, because I coach people, I reach people on TikTok all over the world, all over the country. I coach people all over the country, the United States as well. This is when you need to just use the Google. Google around you, where are there places you can donate clothes like that? I know this because I live in Pennsylvania and we have certain things. I know from visiting friends and family in New England, there are different options. Find out what's around you and then do that, okay? I used to pile stuff in a basket at thrift shops, now changed to just looking at getting what I really need. Yeah, notice the difference between that kind of like, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. And it's like, do I really need this? I think maybe with age comes like you get filled up and you're like, okay, I have this quantity of stuff, but is it giving me the quality of life that I want? Okay? And only you can answer that for you. But the more you answer it into less of this, more of that, based on what you want your home and life to look and feel like, the more your life starts to look and feel like what you want it to, because you're saying no to the things that you don't want and yes to the things you do. And when I say things, I don't just mean cluttery things. I mean people, opportunities, habits. What are the habits that are going to get you closer to your destination decluttered? Okay? Somebody says, wait, friend, who is your husband? He's not famous or anything, but he's famous to me. His name is Cliff Hillis, actually. He's here on TikTok. Go CliffHillis. And he's a cutie, and I love him. And I love my life with him. He's a good guy, too, because he puts up with me doing these TikTok lives all the time and saying, hey, we got to declutter. And I know to back off when I go into his music studio, even though when I'm talking with him, I'm often kind of taking his crumpled up receipts and folding them out. But yeah, we go well together. All right, what do we got here? Here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's funny. And Trey, small world, my husband Cliff is from Delaware. We used to live down Rehoboth. So it's a small world after all. It's small, small world. There we go. Oh, what else do we have? See, people, yeah. Not Sean, Clyde. Oh, this is so funny. Very funny. Okay, so we got 7 minutes left. Enough about me, more about you. And I mean, I can share stories of my life like all get up. But the only reason I do that is to ask you to just share with you, to encourage you to take the next step, whatever it feels like, even if it's a baby step, to get your life looking and feeling and functioning more like you want it to. I will say this. This is I write down all the baby steps I take because it encourages me to do more of them. See all this? Every single day, I'm in the habit of writing down the stuff that I did to get me to where I was. This is only my book from 2002 on. I have another one there, but I only started doing this in the past couple of years. And OMFG, if it isn't a game changer. Kind of like a gratitude journal, a reminder of the things that are good. When you start focusing on the good stuff, more good stuff will appear. If you start appreciating stuff, more stuff to appreciate will appear. It's so true. And when you start to say, what do I want in my life? And what do I not want in my life? That is a decluttering approach to your home, your stuff, and also positive ripple effect into your life. Okay? Yes, thank you, Hellcat Kel. I was thinking about that, the Massachusetts textile recycling thing. And the schools have outdoor recycling bins. Yeah, collection bins. I have seen that when I'm up in Mass with my family. So there we go. Megan, I'm in PA too. We're all East Coasters here. I know I feel bad because I show up so much more in the East Coast time zone. So like, for example, when I'm doing my TikTok, actually the Zoom call. So if anybody's on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, or you want to be, it's free. Sign up today, and we're having a free Zoom call tomorrow night. That is at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and it's a little bit later than I usually show up because I want to get my clients who are on the West Coast, give them an opportunity to show up after work. But yeah, I'm an East Coast gal. What can I say? There we go, everybody. All right, we're here from all over the world. It's cool. There we go. Okay, Breeb81. I only got a few minutes left, but I want to help you with this. Daughter is 6 with hoarding tendencies. Should we make her choose what she wants to throw away or do it for her? Neither of those. Don't make her do anything or do it for her. Work with her and start to understand what is behind her desire to hold on to things. Now, I will say this, and I'm not trying to get the cart before the horse, but everybody, I think, would benefit from knowing that true hoarding is a mental health issue, and it has to do with safety. And I'm not saying that trust me, I'm not saying your 6-year-old daughter has mental health issues, but what I'm saying is there is a component of what is going on in your head and your heart and your nervous system that causes you to hang on to stuff. So you can do something at her or for her, but that's not going to change what she does. What is going to be a better approach is to work with her and maybe a trained professional. Now, I don't work with hoarders. I don't because I know my place in the universe. I am not a licensed mental health professional, nor do I ever care to be. That's not where I'm at. However, sometimes much like the monkeys in reverse, I am a stepping stone. I might be here to tell you that there is help out there for people who do exhibit tendencies to hoard. And the best way to take care of that is to take into account the stuff behind the stuff. What are the thoughts and the feelings that cause the action of hanging on and being resistant to letting go? And that's for people from 6 to 666. Okay? There are trained mental health professionals. Now, again, I don't give recommendations because I don't know where you live. But you can do a search and find somebody that you feel right, that fits with what you're looking for. Okay? There we go. Look at all these signs we get. We get this. Okay. What else we have? Yeah, somebody says, Heather is saying, my daughter wanted to keep every box that was an odd shape between the time she was 4 and 10. It could be just a phase. You know, I kept a lot of stuff when I was a little kid. I don't have much of it anymore, but it might have been a phase. I mean, my thrifting was probably a phase from the time I was 12 to about 48, 49, 50, something like that. There we go. Okay, she says this for the memories, but she will save trash. So ask her without judgment and fear, but love and curiosity. What's the story? What's the memory of this trash? Maybe she's an empathetic person who has wonderful stories about a poor paper plate. Okay? So notice that. Okay, we got 2 minutes left. I love seeing people from all over the world. Somebody says, okay, Kara, I want to help you with this because you said you have a garage full of mid-century modern. I'm telling you. Find a place that sells, if you want to not get rid of it, if you want to make some money off of it, find an auction house or do it yourself. 8 weeks with a new knee, baby steps literally, but baby steps literally, notice the physical baby steps that you think about. We often think about the physical things we do for decluttering, but what I want to offer you is even when you're sitting on your couch, when I sign off in a minute, what you're going to be left with is up here and in here. The decluttering starts here. When you're like, what do I want my place to look like and how do I want it to feel? You point to that and then you say, okay, then, only then, what can I do physically to get there? And when you find yourself stuck and you can't get started, coaching helps. When you can't, then that's because coaching deals with the disconnect between your thoughts and your stuff. If you didn't have a disconnect between your thoughts and your actions, you wouldn't be stuck. You would just be living that life. I have learned and I teach skills, a toolkit, things that have a positive ripple effect over every area of your life when you learn how to make a green light in your head and your heart, so you're just always moving towards what you want and enjoying the ride and having a taste of that destination before you even get there. And it's like the best thing, okay? That being said, okay, I love it that other people are helping out. Somebody's asking if I thrift now. I don't. I actually... Yeah, I just don't, it does not feel pleasant to me to go into them. You know why? Because what I love is I feel like I have the right amount of stuff for me. I love what I have, and I don't feel like I am lacking in any stuff. I will occasionally go to like a well-curated vintage store, but I don't thrift anymore. It just doesn't do it for me like it used to, and I'm okay with that because I love everything else that's going on. Okay, I love all the little tips and tricks that people are saying. Oops, I just dropped this thing. So a couple of things. I want to set you up for success. Okay. Yeah, 58, Kara. Maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe it's a menopause thing. Menopause thing. I'm not sure. My name is Beth. Destination Decluttered. Follow my TikTok page for videos. I am going what I like to call off the digital grid for about a week. I do this often. I am trying hard not to say often, but I just say it anyway, so whatever. Today is the last TikTok live I'm doing for about a week. If you are on my Destination Decluttered email mailing list, you know that already. You also know how to get in touch with me if you want to start coaching with me. If you're not on my mailing list and you want to get on it, the next baby step is destinationdecluttered.com/join. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. If you want to do that, we are having a group Zoom call tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. You will get the info about that. The other thing too is I will be returning. Oh yeah, that was the thing I want to say is all of these TikTok lives, I bet you haven't been to every single one of them. So in my absence, when I am not here live, is it live or Memorex? My Memorex is Destination Decluttered on YouTube. I download the recordings of these TikTok lives and upload them to a playlist on Destination Decluttered on YouTube. So when I do not show up live, you can still have, some companionship and some problem solving and just some good vibes to get your head and heart more in alignment with what you want. Okay. Oh, there we go. Heather, thank you for letting people know, because it's true. I have been on the email list. Please sign up. It's nothing about selling you anything, and it's great. Yeah, I don't sell you anything. I offer you the opportunity that if you're like, OMFG, how cool would it be for this woman to be in my life for an hour a week just for me? Like what do you call that thing? I don't go to the gym. So like a personal trainer to just be there for me, and help me with my issues, and I don't have to pay attention to everybody else. I want that. That's what I offer. I do one-on-one coaching. Other than that, I don't sell anything. I don't like to be sold to. I don't like to feel manipulated, so I do none of that shit. I do one-on-one coaching. You pay for it. I get them in your life. It'll rock your world, and I have plenty of clients to do that, okay? I love it. User 3986, while listening, I have cleared 2 bags. Thanks for all the info and support. Have a great week off. Thank you. I will. I will say this, too, as I sign off, though, too. I will be doing more TikTok lives next week. Next week before Christmas and the week before the end of the year. I'll be there a lot for you. Put me on in the background. Let me help you out if you want some help. How you find out those dates, again, easy peasy lemon squeezy, is go to the top of my TikTok page where my pinned posts are, and one of them says in big red honking letters, schedule, and then write down those things, put it on there, and that's when I show up for you. There we go. Barefoot Eclectic says, best body double ever. Thank you for these lives. You're welcome. ADHD folks, people, everybody with a brain and a heart and a willingness to change their clutter. Let's all get together and do that stuff, okay? I guess I'll see you, if not on Zoom tomorrow night, I will see you next week. All right? Have a good one. And you got this. You can do this. Just drive at a pace that feels right, but always be heading towards your destination decluttered, okay?